Welcome to the Health Awareness Podcast, your reliable companion for evidence-based health knowledge and wellness guide. Our goal is to keep you informed, supported, and empowered on your journey to better health. For links, updates, and additional resources, please check the description.
Welcome to the very first episode of our Health Awareness Podcast. I'm Jenny, and I'm so excited to kick things off with a topic that truly impacts millions, yet often goes unnoticed until it's too late. High blood pressure, or hypertension.
And I'm Mark, equally thrilled to be here with you, Jenny. You know, high blood pressure, it's one of those terms we hear all the time, right? Like, oh, my uncle has high blood pressure, or I need to watch my salt because of my blood pressure. But I think for a lot of people, the actual understanding of what it is and why it's a big deal is pretty vague.
Absolutely, Mark, and that's precisely why we're starting here. It's often called the silent killer for a very good reason. It typically has no obvious symptoms until it's reached a dangerous or even life-threatening stage. It's truly insidious.
The silent killer. That's a chilling phrase, isn't it? So let's break it down for our listeners right from the start. What exactly is blood pressure, and then what makes it high?
Great question. Think of your blood flowing through your arteries like water through a garden hose. Blood pressure is simply the force of your blood pushing against the walls of your arteries as your heart pumps it around your body. When we say someone has high blood pressure, it means that force is consistently too high.
So, like if you kink the hose or turn the spigot up too high, the pressure inside goes way up. Got it. And that pressure, it's measured with two numbers, right? You always hear about 120/80 or something like that.
Exactly! The first number, the top one, is your systolic pressure. That's the pressure in your arteries when your heart beats, pushing blood out. The bottom number, the diastolic pressure, is the pressure when your heart rests between beats. Ideally, we want to see it around 120/80 or even a little lower.
Okay, so 120/80 is the gold standard. What's considered high then? Like, at what point should someone really start to worry or talk to their doctor?
Generally, if your blood pressure consistently reads 130/80 or higher, that's considered high blood pressure or hypertension. There are stages, of course, elevated, stage 1, stage 2, but once you're regularly hitting that 130/80 mark, it's time for intervention, whether that's lifestyle changes or medication.
And the key word there is consistently, right? Because you can have a high reading if you've just run up a flight of stairs, or you're super stressed out about something. That doesn't mean you have hypertension necessarily.
Spot on. A single high reading isn't typically cause for immediate alarm, but it's a flag to monitor it more closely. Your doctor will often take several readings over different visits to get an accurate picture. It's about chronic, sustained high pressure.
So it's silent because it doesn't give you headaches or make you dizzy in most cases, right? You don't feel high blood pressure until it's potentially causing damage. That's pretty scary when you think about it.
It is. The constant elevated pressure damages your arteries over time, making them less elastic and more prone to plaque buildup. This wear and tear increases your risk for a whole host of serious health problems: heart attack, stroke, kidney disease, vision loss, even sexual dysfunction. The list is long and sobering.
Wow. So it's not just about the heart then, it's really a systemic issue affecting your whole body. That makes a lot of sense, considering blood circulates everywhere.
Precisely. Every organ that relies on a healthy blood supply is at risk. That's why awareness and early detection are so crucial. You might feel perfectly fine, but internally the damage could be slowly accumulating.
Okay, so what causes it? Is it just bad luck, or are there things we can point to that increase our risk?
There are definitely identifiable risk factors. Some you can't control, like age. Your risk goes up as you get older, and genetics. If high blood pressure runs in your family, you're at a higher risk. Race also plays a role, with African Americans having a higher prevalence and severity of hypertension.
So some of us are starting with a bit of a disadvantage, genetically speaking. But I assume there are plenty of factors that are within our control. Otherwise, this wouldn't be much of a health awareness podcast.
Absolutely. And this is where the empowerment comes in. Lifestyle choices are huge. Things like being overweight or obese, a diet high in sodium and low in potassium, excessive alcohol consumption, physical inactivity, smoking, and chronic stress. These are all major contributors.
Okay, that sounds like a checklist of modern life, unfortunately. High sodium, not enough exercise, stress. I mean, who isn't stressed these days? It really highlights how interconnected our lifestyle is with our physical health.
It truly is, Mark. And the good news is, for many, addressing these modifiable risk factors can significantly lower blood pressure, sometimes even to healthy levels, or at least reduce the need for medication.
So let's talk about those solutions. What's step one for someone who's just found out their blood pressure is elevated, or maybe they just want to be proactive?
Step one is always to talk to your doctor. They can give you a proper diagnosis and help create a personalized plan. But in terms of lifestyle changes, one of the biggest impacts comes from diet. The DASH diet, Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension, is specifically designed for this. It emphasizes fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean protein, and low-fat dairy, while limiting saturated and trans fats, cholesterol, sodium, and sugary drinks.
DASH diet, got it. So basically eating like our grandparents told us to, but with a scientific name. Lots of fruits and veggies, less processed stuff. Seems straightforward, but execution is always the tricky part, isn't it?
It is, especially with all the convenience foods available. But even small changes can make a difference. Reducing sodium intake is huge. Most of the sodium we consume comes from processed foods, not just the salt shaker. Reading labels is critical.
That's a good point. I've heard some restaurants have crazy high sodium in their dishes. It's not just about adding salt at home, it's about what's already in the food before it even gets to your plate.
Exactly. Beyond diet, regular physical activity is a game changer. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate-intensity aerobic activity per week, or about 30 minutes most days. Even brisk walking can make a significant impact.
And it doesn't have to be running a marathon, which I think puts a lot of people off. Just getting moving, parking further away, taking the stairs, it adds up, right?
Absolutely. Consistency is key, not intensity. And then there's managing stress. That one's tough because stress is such an unavoidable part of life.
I was just thinking about that. It's not like you can just say, okay, I'm going to stop being stressed now. If only it were that easy.
Right? But we can learn healthier ways to cope. Things like meditation, yoga, spending time in nature, ensuring adequate sleep, or even just carving out time for hobbies you enjoy. These all contribute to lowering your overall stress response, which in turn can positively affect blood pressure.
And sleep, you mentioned sleep. I feel like that's often overlooked, but it plays such a huge role in everything, doesn't it?
Massively. Chronic sleep deprivation can actually contribute to higher blood pressure. Our bodies need that time to repair and reset. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity.
Okay, so we've got diet, exercise, stress management, and sleep. That's a pretty comprehensive toolkit for prevention and management through lifestyle. What about medication? When does that come into play?
Medication often comes in when lifestyle changes alone aren't enough to bring blood pressure down to a healthy range, or if the readings are dangerously high from the start. There are several classes of drugs, and a doctor will choose the best one based on individual factors, like other health conditions. It's never a one-size-fits-all approach.
And I guess the important thing there is, if your doctor prescribes medication, you really need to take it as directed. It's not something you can just decide to stop once you feel better, because you don't actually feel high blood pressure in the first place.
Exactly. Adherence is absolutely crucial, and regular follow-up with your doctor is key to monitor the effectiveness of both lifestyle changes and any medication, and to adjust treatment as needed. It's an ongoing journey.
So, wrapping this up, the biggest takeaway seems to be, don't wait. Even if you feel fine, get your blood pressure checked regularly. It's a simple, non-invasive test that gives you vital information about your health.
Precisely, Mark. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to a silent killer like hypertension. Knowing your numbers is the first step towards protecting your long-term health. Don't underestimate the impact of those numbers.
And if you find your numbers are a bit higher than they should be, don't panic. But definitely engage with your doctor and start looking at those lifestyle changes we discussed. Small steps can lead to big improvements.
Absolutely. Take control of what you can control. This has been a really enlightening conversation, Mark. I hope our listeners feel more informed and empowered to take charge of their heart health.
Me too, Jenny. It's been great diving into this crucial topic. So for everyone out there, please prioritize those checkups, make those healthy choices, and we'll catch you next time on the Health Awareness Podcast for another important discussion.
Thanks for tuning in, and stay healthy, everyone.